Hey, Roddy.
I am here. We are live.
Nice. What's in the background? What is that? Whatever it
Oh,
takes.
I mixed it up. So yeah, it says whatever it takes. That's a local graffiti artist put that up there for us. And initially, I wasn't a huge fan of it because it was the slogan for the Cleveland Cavaliers when they knocked the Toronto Raptors out of the Eastern Conference Finals. However, as Toronto won the finals this year, I've buried that hatchet, and I think it looks awesome.
That's hilarious. It looks great. It reminds me of like a WeWork office because I've seen like so many different like cursive phrases. I don't know how to describe it in the WeWork offices.
Totally, yes. It kind of does. Yes, I would agree.
Awesome. Everybody, this is Roddy Smith from Spently. He is going to tell us on the personalization note, and I think this is going to be really key and probably the theme to the entire event, really, at this point. He's going to tell us how to make more money from our notification emails. This is so overlooked, and I'm really looking forward to talking about personalized coupons and personalized product recommendations in these things. I think those are where the money is made. But of course, I'll let you get into it and show us what we're doing wrong and how to do it right.
Thank you, Derek. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for having me on again. Glad to be here. Let me share my screen here, and let's dive into this. Bear with me. Okay, hopefully everybody can see my
Looks good.
presentation. So, as you know by now, my name is Roddy Smith. I am with Spently. And basically, Spently is an app that works with your Shopify store notifications or transactional emails, whatever we want to call them, to increase lifetime value of your customers, personalize them to make them match your brand and website, and ultimately drive revenue through them. Bit of background, I've been working in e-commerce for a little while now, and I really like finding the sort of hidden sales channels that a lot of people aren't really taking advantage of. I first met Vincent and Nicholas, who are the founders of Spently, at a Shopify conference in San Francisco 3-4 years ago. And at the time, they were just sort of really building Spently and fine-tuning the development. And when they reached out to me to help grow Spently and help the Shopify ecosystem and focus on Shopify exclusively, I jumped at the opportunity because it's a product that genuinely helps merchants. So today's topic is obviously, let's try this, hang on. Today's topic is, what's on the horizon, what's happening, what's the future of e-commerce marketing? So we've seen a lot of changes in the last little while. The rise of personalization, which I'll touch on in terms of some of our marketing components. And, gone are the days of sort of having a huge, massive email list and blasting out your monthly newsletter or promotional emails to everybody. GDPR and CAN-SPAM and Castle have been striking fear into the hearts of e-commerce stores and marketers. But it's just one sort of arrow in your quiver. And effectively what we're going to do today is chat about how we can, take another arrow out of that quiver and leverage a lot of these emails that you're already sending right now. Because filling up the top of the funnel is great, and you absolutely have to do it. And don't get me wrong, newsletters and email blasts and marketing of that nature is key to any business. But as we've seen with a lot of the speakers today, whether that's push notifications, SMS, or Facebook Messenger, or whatever these other venues are, it's all about having all of them firing, because then that's when you're going to really see a lot of the success. So today we're going to talk about your transactional emails or store emails, whatever you want to call them. Just don't call them email blasts. We don't really compete with the likes of Klaviyo or MailChimp or OmniSend or any of those guys out there, because they don't really do what we do, and we're really more of a complementary service to make sure that you have that unified look and feel across all your emails. I'll touch quickly on follow-up emails as well, which is part 2 of our software. But I have a feeling that a fair few of you are probably sitting there scratching your head saying, what is this guy talking about? What are these transactional emails? So these are emails that are automatically sent by Shopify for you at this very moment. It's massively overlooked, and not a lot of merchants that I speak with have really thought about this as being able to unlock a sort of hidden sales channel. We see crazy open rates on these emails. Anywhere from 60 to 90% unique open rates. You know, the first question I always get asked by a merchant is, okay, Roddy, but why is my total open rate 237%? And this really just boils down to is people open their order confirmation, their shipping confirmation multiple times. They want to make sure they use the right card. They maybe had that discount code applied. They maybe want to show their partner or friend what they've just purchased. But we see ridiculous stats around these emails because everybody opens them. I know when I buy something, the first place that I always go is I go to check my email for that order confirmation. Maybe I'm paranoid and I don't trust people, but I always go there to get that validation that, okay, this is legitimate. I'm going to receive that product. So out of those emails, just to give you a quick overview, there's the order confirmation, which I mentioned, which is a huge heavy hitter. Everybody opens it. I was looking at a merchant's dashboard with them earlier this morning, and they had a 95% open rate. That's unheard of in email marketing. Order canceled and order refund was a really cool one as well, because these are quite often viewed as negative emails, when in actuality, we can turn them into a positive. If they've had a really good customer service experience and, you know, they're Gorgeous is working and firing away and doing everything that Gorgeous does great, we can flip that order canceled or order refunded, show maybe some recommended products in there, and turn that into a purchase again. So we see these people come back and purchase from the store all over again. Draft order invoice, you know, you've got a unique brand. Let's make sure that if you're selling to other businesses or doing bulk orders, again, have it match your brand. Abandoned checkout, I'll touch on this later, but pretty much everyone should be doing this. And gift card created, that's just money waiting to be gathered. Shipping notifications, these are checked an insane amount. I know whenever I order something, I immediately open that shipping confirmation and then immediately open any other following shipping emails and click the little tracking link in there probably too many times throughout the day and track that poor postman's footsteps nearly to my door. They're just, again, a really easy way to let your brand shine through, build that brand loyalty. Customer notifications, these ones are really big. Account welcome is perhaps one of my favorites in there. If a shopper has gone to the trouble to create an account with your site to make the checkout process easier, chances are they're pretty interested in your brand, show some recommended products, and drive sales off of these emails. For merchants who are moving to Shopify, I've seen them use the account invite really well when they're taking all those accounts from Magento over to Shopify. And it's a really easy way to say, hey, check out our new website. And it's been a little while since you shopped with us, you know, check these out, or whatever it may be. And then finally, POS notifications. These are some of the notifications in there. So we've seen Shopify really push for brick and mortar. I mean, they open their own brick and mortar store in LA. What better way to take that offline experience and drive it online? Take that foot traffic of people coming into your store and email them the receipts, because at the end of the day, none of those printed receipts last. You lose them. Whereas if you have an email copy, it's going to last, and it's better for merchants if you need warranties or things like that. But then show some other products in there. Incentivize them to come back to your online store and, you know, turn that foot traffic into online traffic. So I know I banged on about these crazy open rates that we see with these transactional emails. In case you don't believe me, hopefully you'll believe Experian. They did a report about your transactional emails. And just to run over a few of these crazy stats here, on your order confirmation, on average, 114% open rate. That's insane. Newsletters, 12.5%. If you're getting like a 20% open rate on your newsletters, you should be really happy with that. In terms of the click rates on your order confirmation, 14.4%. The merchants whose dashboard I was in this morning had a 50% click rate on their order confirmation, which is huge, versus a newsletter, which is 3.1%. So to summarize that, 10 times the open rate, 5 times the click rate, 6 times more ROI. I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. Now, if you were curious about what the actual Shopify transactional emails look like, we have one here. This is the bog standard template that 795,000 odd Shopify stores are using. I say 795 because we power a few thousand of those. But basically, it lacks branding. It doesn't match your theme. There's no social links in there. It's not very easily shopped. There's only 2 clickable links. You know, you might have personalized it a little bit and popped your logo in there. We have one in there. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like an octopus, but only has 6 legs. So I don't know what that is. But as you can see, it's pretty standard. Doesn't match your brand. Doesn't match your brand's voice, and doesn't do your, you know, your beautifully designed website that you've spent hours, days, months, years obsessing over. So it's kind of like a bit of a letdown for the shopper when you have this beautiful experience on their site and then they get that. So what is the secret sauce? How can we leverage this captive audience? How can we take advantage of the fact that everybody is opening these emails? So obviously that's why I'm here, to talk about Spently. So we've got plug-in marketing components. Let's throw some product recommendations in there. Let's throw in unique and personalized discount codes. Let's include your social links, a navigation bar, referral links. And we do all of this with the Spently Builder, which I'll touch on in a second. But hang on, let's go back. So we see this Shopify default template. Now let's jump forward to this nice looking template on the right here. So this is a client of ours, Leather Up. As you can see, we've got a navigation bar across the top. I really like to use this to put popular collections in, or you can put FAQs or contact us, or a blog if you've got one. But I prefer to put collections in there because let's drive them back to something that they might be interested in. The unique discount codes. This is a super easy way to personalize the experience on these emails. What we do is we tap directly into Shopify's discount API and automatically create these discount codes. Now, I'm not a fan of throwing out discounts for the sake of discounts. If it doesn't make sense to your business and eats in at your margin, you're kind of just throwing money away. So with Spently, what we can do is we can create rules around it. So you can make it so it expires after 14 days or however long you want, or it only applies to certain collections, or it only applies to orders over 50 bucks or 100 bucks or whatever you need to have it make sense with your margins. So that way, the discount code makes sense to your business. The other thing that I love that we do with this discount code is we pop the shopper's first name in there. That little bit of personalization makes a huge difference. And as soon as we put the shopper's first name in there, we saw engagement go through the roof. At the end of the day, everybody loves the sound of their own name. And if it's personalized to them, they're going to be far more likely to use it. Product recommendations. If there's a discount code right there, and then you show them some really cool other products that you sell, I mean, who am I to say no to not using that discount code and then going and looking at those recommended products? We've got a few different ways that we can do it. The most common and popular is by using the Spently recommended products, which is a hidden collection in your back end. And we are able to personalize it to a certain extent where we do not show them any products that they've just purchased. So then that way it's a bit more relevant to what they're looking at. We do have some things in the works to work on recommendations. We also have other integrations that we've done that I will touch on in a moment. But the final one in here that we always need to do is throw in those social links. Brands have been built on Instagram and Facebook, so we want to make sure that we're personalizing this to represent your brand, your business, and all the channels that you're going through as much as possible. The other layer of personalization that I love doing in your transactional emails is we give you a list of all of Shopify's liquid variables. So we're able to pop in the shopper's first name, or as the example that Kurt gave a second ago, throwing in the last name is a really great way to just make people open these emails. You know, subject lines get you to open the email, content gets you to click on it. So if we can throw in some personalization in there with the liquid variables based on location, name, any of those sorts of details, it's just going to make them resonate more with the shopper. So I mentioned this before, our Spently Builder. We make this super easy for you to do. I have seen a lot of merchants who do write out their own HTML for these emails, which, while, yeah, you can do it, it's just not a very effective use of, you know, a developer's time or for your business, because then it becomes really difficult to update them. We have obsessed over our builder for a very long time and made it what I think is pretty damn easy to use. It's all drag and drop components. If you want to put an image in there with a button call to action underneath, you just drag those two components in. You can group them together. You can do all kinds of stuff with the Spently Builder. We have, we've partnered with Out of the Sandbox and Pixel Union to have some of their more popular themes, so it automatically matches your store. Just need to change up some of the colors. And we are on a mission to have basically every theme that's in the theme store in Spently as well. But that, again, a work in progress. But yeah, it's super easy to do, super easy to update as well. Because if you have seasonal changes for, you know, Black Friday or Christmas or Valentine's Day, or you sell swimwear, you want to change it up for the summer versus winter, any of those things, it's super easy to change. You can just drag and drop the new images in there. So in terms of connected apps and other integrations that we work with, you know, the Shopify ecosystem is awesome. Shopify is a hugely powerful platform. And where there are potential limitations, you know, other apps like Spently or like some of the guys we partnered with pop up. So we have partnered with a few of these guys. LimeSpot is a good one. Their recommendations is great. You can leverage best-selling, newest, or my personal favorite, which is trending, which shows your most popular products across the last 72 hours. Sufio allows you to include a PDF invoice directly in your transactional emails. Tractor by the guys over at ShopPad is a really cool one. It gives you live order tracking that integrates with all the major carriers and gives you that really cool tracking page that you probably end up clicking on far too often and far too regularly. Kit is one of our, we've had this integration for a little while, but one of our, we just redid it. But basically you can have a conversation with Kit and it can prompt you to include, you know, new products in the recommendations that are going out in your transactional emails. And then in a couple weeks, it, you know, pings you another message and says, hey, do you want to revert back to what you're doing before? We also play nicely with Bold's product options, ShopPad's infinite options, and we have a whole bunch of other really cool integrations in the works across, you know, loyalty and rewards that should be coming out soonish, as well as a couple other ones that are pretty cool. I can't say too much, but connected apps and the Shopify ecosystem is really only going to help you embed yourself further with other tools that you're already using. Finally, on your transactional emails, we back it up with data, analytics. If there's one thing that everyone in e-commerce loves / hates is analytics. And basically, this is a huge blind spot in Shopify right now. You have no idea how any of these emails are performing. Yes, you might have popped in some UTM tags in there, but they're notoriously easy to break and you only get very limited information. Whereas with Spently, what we do is we give you open rates, clicks, and just a bit more detail around it, as well as showing you the orders that came off the back of these transactional emails. So then you can cross-reference it within Shopify as well. And at the end of the day, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So Spently is a really great tool to make sure that your transactional emails are firing properly, and if you need to tweak something on it, then at least you know about it rather than it being totally blind and out there. So How can we take this one step further? Our bread and butter really are the transactional emails, but we do have a sort of an add-on part to our software, which is the follow-up emails. So I'm going to quickly run through a few examples of how we can take these follow-up emails that are all post-purchase related, whether it's follow-up sequences, and turn that one-time shopper into a repeat purchaser. Because so many merchants that I speak with are so obsessed with filling up the top of the funnel that they forget about the people who have already purchased from you. 43% of most businesses, online stores businesses is repeat purchases. So let's give them a bit of love too, and let's make sure that we're doing everything we can to get them back into your shop. So with our follow-up emails, we have 11 that we've created that you can tweak and fine tune to your heart's content. Abandoned checkout, I mentioned this earlier. Everyone should be doing this. If you're not, please sort this out ASAP. Shopify has the ability to send out one for you, and depending on your brand, what I generally suggest is send out that first one at like 1 hour, send out a second email at 24 hours, and then maybe a third one a couple days later, throwing in a small discount code in there that expires in 24 hours. And that way we can create a bit of urgency to get them back into your store. If you sell sort of bigger ticket items that are maybe less impulse purchasey, maybe just sending out one email after a few days saying like, hi, Derek, we saw you checked out, whatever it may be. And maybe don't offer a discount, but just at an initial sort of nudge to get them in there. Win-back series, this one as like a base level, everyone should be doing this. What we like to do with a lot of our merchants is look at, to send out one at like 60 days, 120 days, 240, and 360 days from their first purchase. In that 361, as Kurt was mentioning, throw in a first purchase anniversary message is a really nice way to sort of customize it. On the other ones, maybe throw a discount in there, maybe throw some recommended products in there. If you've done an order gap analysis and you know how long your products are going to last, then maybe stagger them to match that. One of my personal favorite examples from one of my favorite clients is the guys over at Stash Tea. Not only do they make delicious tea, but they use Spently very creatively with our follow-ups. So they have a free sample for tea that you can add to your cart. And when we were sort of chatting, what they wanted to do was take advantage of this free sample. And so what they did is created a follow-up based on a purchase of a specific product. So if you've added this to your cart and it's been delivered to you, I think it was either 2 or 3 weeks later, we send a message saying, hey, Bob, we hope you love that loose leaf tea sample. We're so confident that you love that loose leaf tea sample. Here is a discount off of any loose leaf tea from that collection. And it's just a really good way to sort of take advantage of a free sample that you've given them and bring it back into the store and get them back into you. So we did a case study with the guys over at Stash Tea as well, and we were able to increase their sales by 5% through their store notifications and then 5% through their follow-up emails. So this is a lot of the times just money left on the table. You can go in and segment out and automate to your heart's content, but at a base level, the win back, the abandoned checkout series, and maybe purchase from a collection or specific product is a really effective way to get people back into your store. So one of my favorite things with this feature is if you're thinking, oh, great, this will be wonderful moving forwards, we can do this retroactively. Depending on your plan with Spently, you can sync past purchases. So all that traffic you had at Black Friday last year, Christmas last year, or whatever holiday or big sale that you had, we can start sending these out immediately and start hitting up these people retroactively for those win-back series or specific product purchased. And it's just a great way to take advantage of spikes in sales to try to level things out on our road to Black Friday now. So exactly the same with the transactional emails, back it up with data. This is pretty standard with most email service providers, but we just give you info around your open rates, click rates, what people are doing in these emails, and sort of how we can help and what we can do. So this slide always bugs me because it says, why choose Spently? should really say, why haven't you chosen Spently? You're sending out all of these emails right now for your transactional emails at this very moment. And if you're not taking advantage of them, if you're not making sure that they match your brand, throw in a cheeky bit of marketing, because not everyone signs up to email blasts or newsletters, but you have to send your transactional emails by law, and then back it up with data so you can see how they're performing. So yeah, I mean, we generated $200 million worth of revenue for Shopify merchants last year. We're on track to do a whole lot more than that this year. And if it's working for 5,000 odd Shopify stores, I'm willing to bet it'll work for every single one of you people on this call today. Another question I get asked at this point is, this all looks wonderful, Roddy, but how much? So we've got a few different plans. Our starter plan is totally free if you're doing less than 50 orders a month. Then we move into usage-based billing. So if you have seasonal spikes for Black Friday or Christmas or summer, whatever you're selling, the plan is going to adjust depending on your order volume. So you're never going to feel like you're paying too much. And it just allows you to make sure that it's scaling with your business. If you're doing over 5,000 orders, reach out to me. We do have custom plans that we can loop in. If you're doing like if you have a US, a Canadian, UK store, we can loop that in with the custom plans as well. But yeah, that's my spiel done and dusted. If you have any questions, please email me, Roddy, R-O-D-D-Y, at SpentlyHQ, as in headquarters.com. If you send me an email and you are interested in trying out Spently, anybody who's listening today, I can happily give you, who isn't a Spently user, I can happily give you a 30-day free trial. So you can give it a go, no costs associated. If we don't make you money, one, I will be shocked, and then we can part ways friends. But yeah, it works. Give it a go.
Love it. Roddy, yeah, thank you so much. I'm still, yeah, the integration list was great. And I think what people, you said it, but people don't always catch this. You have value-based pricing, which means if you go down in orders, you automatically get charged less.
Yeah.
This is the future of tech tools, especially in the e-commerce space with seasonal products and all of that stuff. And I think that's super valuable because, I mean, given dozens of consultations on tech waste and spend with all of the kind of accounts that we've helped through this, you see thousands and thousands in revenue wasted so many times. So it's really important to know that the tier is going to be downgraded if it's used less. And obviously the tool speaks for itself. And I love just the ability to add products, like I said before, products and discount codes. That's where the bread and butter is for me. And then of course those custom product categories that you're able to create, and just maximizing the value of each and every email sent.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the thing that gets me with this is everybody is already sending all of these transactional emails. And if you're using the Shopify default template, yeah, it does the trick, but you're not using an out-of-the-box Shopify theme. You've customized it, you've changed it, you've adapted it to match your brand and to match the products that you're selling. Yeah. So let's do the exact same with the emails that are opened way more than any other email you could possibly send.
Yeah. Love it. Awesome. Roddy, thanks so much. We're going to bring Jason Goldberg in here.